Dear Sir, this next March I shall turn 29 years of age. I would like to think in that time I have accomplished more than a lot of people my age. I have a full-time job, which pays about 13,000 sterling a year before tax. I have a rented flat and I live alone. I have done this for the past 5 years. Each month I get paid about 800 sterling after tax, and about 400 goes out on rent to a private landlord. My flat has 2 gas fires, one of which has been condemned, and the other I dare not use for cost of the bills. You see, the other £400 a month must cover everything, from council tax to TV licence to food. I like to set myself a budget of £30 per week. I managed in this way for a long time, for years, before I began to struggle simply with the economic situation that had pushed up the prices of everything. I recognised that with my wage, the most cost-effective thing to do would be to live at home. Many of the people I work with, some twice my age, have never moved out from their parents, but I at least aspire to independence. I also recognise that a full-time job at less than 15,000 sterling means I would be nearly equal to, if not more worse off, than were I to pack the idea of a job in and live off state benefits. But why would I want to do that? I discovered from my local council that I had been entitled to housing benefit, and indeed had been from the time I moved into the residence. That surprised me. It had never occurred to me that someone in full-time employment would ever be entitled for benefits. Why would the state support someone who, in theory, is self-sufficient? They denied back pay with their slogan, "Ignorance of the system isn't an excuse." Anyway, the council decided to pay me what a benefit inspector later termed a minuscule amount on a home visit of £25 sterling per week. This has greatly helped me and spurred my enthusiasm to go further. I imagined that the best thing to do would be to move out of rented accommodation and onto the property ladder. I obviously can't buy, but you can part buy and part rent with a housing association. I discovered that with a mortgage on my current wage, I could move into a house or small flat and pay exactly the same amount of money I pay now, just £400 per month, although only half of that would be on rent, because the other half would be on a mortgage. You can then imagine my surprise when I ran this past the council to hear that they would halve my housing benefits if I did that, because they would not consider a mortgage worthy of supporting, even though the amount going on housing would be identical to what I pay now. The word mortgage exempts you from benefits. So my question to you is, exactly what am I supposed to do? Do I rent forever? Because I already have a full-time job. It's not like I'm unemployed, nor was I asking for an increase in benefits. You remember, the minuscule amount? But your councils would remove their funding because the same amount of money is going to different places. And yet, if I was to go for a night on the town, get married, and have a family I couldn't support, like the Somali family of 10 I read about in the paper, the government would put me up in some London mansion as well, rent completely covered by some hideous amount of benefits. I don't understand why I am being punished for trying to live a moral life whilst engaging in full-time employment and seeking to get a house that belongs to me, to own my own home. Would this not be of benefit to the society? Please could you advise me as to what course of action I am supposed to take to get around this issue? With high regards.